IMSA's 100-minute sprint race in Motor City is now complete. And finally, I'm happy to say that we have a different overall winner. Even though it was a short event, a lot happened. And in this video, I'll be breaking down all the details, as this is a complete race report of the 2025 Chevrolet Detroit Sports Car Classic. A total of 22 cars would take to the circuit for this race, with only the GTP and GTD Pro classes present. Heading out of the race at Laguna Seca, IMSA made some major changes to the balance of performance rule set, in the hope of increasing the competition in GTP, and I'm happy to say that those changes worked. In GTP qualifying, BMW's pole record would end, as Acura would finally beat them in qualifying with a 1-2 result, with Nick Yololi qualifying on pole for the first time ever in GTP, with his number 93 Acura setting a 1-minute 05.672 lap time. And just before the qualification of the prototype cars, Sebastian Prix set the fastest time in the GTD Pro qualifying, with a 1-minute 10.922 in his number 64 Ford Mustang GT3. As the race began, Yololi would hold the GTP lead in the number 93 Acura, followed by the second ARX-06 from Meyershank Racing, and the number 25 BMW M Hybrid V8 would complete the top three, while in the background, the Aston Martin Valkyrie made its way past the last of the Cadillac entries, all while the GTPs made their way around the tight and twisty streets of Detroit. Meanwhile, the two Ford Mustangs held the lead in GTD Pro, followed by the number 48 BMW M4 GT3 Evo from Paul Miller Racing. Soon, our first caution came out after contact was made between Klaus Bachler's Roxy Porsche and one of the Corvettes from Pratt Miller Motorsports, but thankfully, neither entry was out of the race. After the debris was cleaned up, the green flags were waved once again, and at the end of the long straight, Nick Tandy in the number 7 Porsche Penske made his send on the third-placed BMW to move the 963 into the top 3 at turn 3. And later on, Porsche Penske showed that despite the disadvantages of the balance of performance on their cars, they were still in the hunt for a 5th win in a row. But as I already mentioned before, that wouldn't happen here in Detroit, as Ford and Multimatic Motorsports continued to dominate in GTD Pro, with the number 48 BMW looming just behind in third. Drama struck elsewhere in the GT category, with the number 81 Dragon Speed Ferrari locking up at turn 3 and tapping the wall. Thankfully though, there wasn't damage to the 296 from the Florida-based squad, and Albert Costa Balboa was able to reverse the entry and get it back into the event. However, this would be a disadvantage. When the pit stops came around though, this is when things changed in the GTP field. Of the leading cars, the two Acuras and BMWs pit first, while the Porsche Penske entries and the number 10 WTR Cadillac pit after. And Porsche and Cadillac were actually able to get the number 7 car and the number 10 car ahead of the number 93 Acura in that respective order, which highlighted the strong strategy calls that Porsche Penske Motorsport and Wayne Taylor Racing always make. Following the pit stops in GTD Pro, Mike Rockenfeller took over from Seb Prio in the leading Ford Mustang GT3. But there was drama on the other side of the garage at Multimatic Motorsports, as there would be contact involving the second Mustang. On the long way down to turn 3, the number 65 Ford and the number 9 Lamborghini made contact when they were battling for position, which got the number 9 Pfaff entry ahead. But then Max Hesse locked up and careered into the side of the Mustang, which lost Frederick Verveech 2 places in the GTD Pro field. Ultimately, this was a complete accident from the BMW, but this was still dramatic, and as I said, this would hurt the number 65 Ford's race. Taking a small break from the GTD Pro ranks and up in the front in GTP, things were getting really intense. Following the pit stops, Ricky Taylor in the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac was chasing down Felipe Nasr in the number 7 Porsche, and now the American racer finally had an opportunity to pass the 963 because of a caution period bunching up the field. In fact, this battle involved all 4 of the main manufacturers in GTP, And so far this season, this has been the only race where Porsche, Cadillac, Acura, and BMW all have had a legitimate chance to take the win. Meanwhile, I want to point out this fantastic move from Laurin Heinrich, as the German racer did a switchback maneuver to get Roxy into 5th place ahead of the number 14 Vasser Sullivan Lexus at turn 5. While there aren't that many conventional overtaking opportunities around here besides turn 3, it's cool to see drivers like Heinrich taking advantage of situations and going for bold moves in places we don't expect. Speaking of bold overtakes, we had another one, this time for the overall lead in GTP. With under 15 minutes to go, Ricky Taylor sent it on the Porsche to take the lead for Cadillac at home. Remember, Wayne Taylor Racing took the win last year at Detroit with Acura, and now they were looking to do it for the first time with Cadillac in GTP in 2025. However, that dream was spoiled when another great move happened for the lead in GTP. With just over 3 minutes to go, Dutch racer Renger van der Zande made the move for the win on the number 10 Cadillac at turn 1 and got ahead in the number 93 Acura. And like I said, turn 1 is not really where we see a lot of overtakes at. Elsewhere in GTD Pro, Alexander Sims in the number 3 Corvette was pressurizing Rockefeller for the lead of this race. So, two American brands, Chevrolet and Ford, battling for the win on the streets that they are both based on. The question now was, who would finish ahead? Although the argument of who would finish first in GTP was already settled, as the win in Motor City would belong to Meyershank Racing and Acura, as Renger van der Zande and Nick Yaloli would bring the car home in first from starting on pole, but the battle for victory lane wasn't easy. This would end Porsche Penske Motorsport's dominance of IMSA after winning the first 4 rounds, as finally we would get a different manufacturer winning overall, with the number 93 Acura on top. This was also Meyershank Racing's first win in IMSA since the 2023 Motul Petit Le Mans at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, which was the final race for the team before going on temporary leave from the North American Series. Second place in GTP would go to last year's winners, the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing car, as they gave Cadillac their first podium this season and first podium at home in IMSA since the 2022 race at Belle Isle. And finally, to keep their 17 straight podium finishes alive, Porsche Penske's number 6 car would finish in 3rd overall. Meanwhile, the championship-leading number 7 car finished in 4th, with the number 24 BMW from Team RLL completing the top 5. Over in GTD Pro, we would finally get the result of which Detroit brand would finish ahead. Ford would triumph over Chevrolet, as Seb Priaulx and Mike Rockefeller took the win in the number 64 Ford Mustang from Multimatic Motorsports, giving Ford their first win since the Rolex 24 at Daytona at the start of the year. This was also kind of an ironic win for Ford, considering the fact that the Chevrolet Tower looms over the street circuit. However, besides their success in GTP, General Motors would also pick up second place in GTD Pro, with the number 3 Corvette from Pratt Miller Motorsports, while the number 9 Lamborghini Huracan completed the top 3, giving Pfaff Motorsports their first podium of the year. Then in 4th would come the number 14 Vasser Sullivan Lexus, with the Roxy Porsche from AO Racing completing the top 5. As for the championship standings heading out of round 5 at Detroit, in GTP, the number 7 Porsche Penske Motorsport 963 is still at the top with 1,795 points, but the number 6 Porsche has closed the gap to 70 points. Then the number 24 BMW M Hybrid V8 completes the top 3. Following the victory in Detroit, the number 93 Meyershank Racing Acura moves into 4th, with the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac completing the top 5. The number 25 BMW from Team RLL slips down to 6th, followed by the number 31 Whelen Cadillac, the number 60 Meyershank Racing Acura, the number 85 JDC Miller Motorsports Porsche, and the number 40 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac completes the top 10. As for the manufacturer standings in GTP, Porsche continues to have a healthy lead, with 1,854 points, followed by Acura in second and BMW in third. Cadillac is placed in fourth, followed by Aston Martin in fifth, and Lamborghini completes the top 6 as always, considering the SC63 only competed in 2 rounds. For LMP2, there continues to be no change since Sebring, so I won't mention the standings in this category. But in GTD Pro, the number 77 AO Racing Porsche continues to lead the championship, followed by the number 3 Corvette from Pratt Miller Motorsports, with the number 64 Multimatic Ford moving into third following its win in Detroit. The number 81 Dragon Speed Ferrari is in fourth, followed by the number 65 Ford Mustang from Multimatic Motorsports completing the top 5. Then comes the 2 Paul Miller Racing BMWs, followed by the number 9 Pfaff Motorsports Lamborghini, which moves into 8th, ahead of the number 4 Corvette from Pratt Miller Motorsports, and the number 14 Vassar Sullivan Lexus completes the top 10 in this category. Finally, for GTD, like the LMP2 class, I won't mention these standings as nothing has changed from Laguna Seca, as these cars were not present at Detroit. So that concludes my complete race report of the 2025 Chevrolet Detroit Sports Car Classic in IMSA. We have a little break before the WeatherTech Series returns due to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but IMSA will be back at Mid-Ohio soon for the 4-hour endurance race there. As for the WeatherTech Series, the next race will be the highly anticipated Salem 6 Hours of the Glen on June 22nd. But now, I want to know what you thought about the IMSA Detroit Grand Prix. Make sure to post your thoughts in the comments below.